All right. Well, welcome back to Fine Home Talks, and I am here with.
Nikki from Plymouth Glass.
Yeah. Awesome. And what do you guys do? Where are you guys located? Where do you service?
This is a very vague question. All right, let me get started here.
Yeah,
Do we
yeah,
have a
love
pen
this.
and a pencil? So our big commodities that we offer are auto glass, the in-home. We do the mobile service as well as in the shop.
Yeah.
We do commercial glass, so we're doing storefronts, glazing, curtain wall, big buildings, as well as just a single door repair. And then we're also doing residential glass, so window repair. We're doing custom showers, tabletops, mirrors, all that good stuff, and located in Thomaston.
And you guys just actually did a couple of our vehicles,
Thank you.
our
Yeah.
Broncos. So big shout out. Everything. I mean, the whole customer service was great. I know. Even Aubrey, our office manager, got back and was like, "Hey, they called me, made sure everything was good." And I think now with the big thing today is you can't just have anybody. And I actually drive past. I come from home, and we live in Thompson, so I drive past the shop every morning. And I think what people don't realize, it's kind of a big deal to replace your windshield now because of all the sensors.
Oh, yeah. It's all those fancy sensors that keep you safe, a
Right.
safety alert system. It's called forward collision or lane departure. Yeah, if you replace your windshield, you have to have those recalibrated. And if they're not recalibrated, if the camera's off a matter of a millimeter, it's not going to detect it. And you're going to be in a situation where, could have been prevented with that.
Right. Because I think I saw like you guys had a trailer or something as I was driving past, and it had the recalibration team or something where it and people don't realize that it's not just putting on a new windshield. We have to make sure everything because that stuff like locks up your brakes when it's not calibrated right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There was a story years ago. I always share this with people to tell them how serious recalibrations are. We call them recals. So if you hear me say that, that's what that means. It was out in Massachusetts. It was very fresh and new, and recalibrations were just starting. And apparently something wasn't done properly or something didn't go through. And when the car went under a bridge, it detected that was a car, and its car slammed on its brakes in the middle of the highway. Obviously, people were okay, but it was a big deal. And that's...
Yeah. It's still, even the technology isn't 100% there, because I know when like you're turning or something, we have it on our vehicles, and if you're driving like an idiot, it will sometimes tell you you're too close.
Yeah.
and give you a little jolt. Maybe that's more of my problem, the way I drive. But so big thing. I mean, I feel like windshields are you're just driving down the highway. There's always that dump truck with the rocks. People always get the rock in the windshield, that nice little splinter there. What's the process? What do people do? Like, walk me through if somebody, hey, I just drove, something hit the windshield, I got a little crack. What's the steps?
Yeah, the biggest thing we always tell people is call us first. We can make things a lot easier for them instead of, going through and calling your local agent and then calling the 1-800 number on the back of your card and getting rerouted 3 different times and finally getting somebody. Avoid all that.
Yeah.
Call my office first. I have 6 full-time CSRs in the office that handle all that. They will file the claim. They'll get the proper glass. They'll notify you about the recalibration. They'll do all in one phone call. Yeah. So a phone call may take about 10 minutes because they do file the claim with you with the insurance. Said and done. Have an appointment, ready to go, and we'll do everything one-stop shop. The windshield replacement, the recalibration right then and there.
Yeah. It's key, because honestly, that then you're going to call the insurance company, and they're going to be like, where are you going? It's just a mess. Like, you guys are the professionals. You know what to tell them. You know what, all of those steps. We say that in remodeling too. Like, it's get somebody that knows how to deal with the insurance company, what they need. Don't don't try to go to the guy down the street that's it ends up nobody has a good time there.
I think I'll point something out to you. It's really interesting you talk about that, because something interesting in our industry is that, all the big insurance companies that we have, probably, who are you insured with?
I don't know. State Auto, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So State Auto.
Yeah.
Allstate, Kemper, Geico, you name it, all the big insurance companies, they basically got together and said, we're not going to handle glass claims. We're going to have a call center handle our glass claims. That call center is called Safe Light Solutions.
Yeah.
They say right on their phone call, we're financially affiliated with Safe Light Auto Glass. So when you call the number on the back of your card, and as soon as it says, is this a glass only claim, and you hit that prompt, you go to this Safe Light Solutions. They will always push you to go to Safe Light Auto Glass because they get a kickback of money with it. And you're speaking to somebody in Ohio that has no idea about quality and service. So I just tell people, make a decision before you call the insurance company. Go on Facebook, go on Google, go on Yelp, look at people's reviews, do some research. Don't go by what the insurance company says. And nor do you have to. You have the right to choose.
And give the business to somebody local. You know, you guys are right right down the street in Thomaston. And really, is that a lot of the work that you do? What would you say the mixture between windows and glass and vehicles?
As far as auto glass versus, say, residential, commercial,
Yeah.
I would say auto glass is about 65% of the business.
So that's a lot.
Oh, yeah. I have 20 full-time technicians out on the road and 4 apprentice trainees right now.
Awesome. That's awesome. And everyone wants to root for the local, company that's been around. And, don't go with Safe Light or whatever, whatever company is owned, because that's a big conglomerate. So somebody calls, you're going to handle the insurance. What's the next steps?
They'll get an appointment right then and there.
Yeah.
We can order the glass, typically get it, turn around sometimes same day, if not next day. As early as that day, we can do appointments. There's people calling probably today, right now, while I'm out of the office and getting appointments as we speak.
And do you have them come in, or can you send somebody out, or how does that work?
So both. So we have the in-shop service, but the mobile service is nice, right to your job, your work, the beach, wherever.
Right.
So they'll go there. 95%, I'd say, of our work is done mobile.
Yeah.
But the in-shop is nice when it's raining or bad weather out there. The car has to be in a controlled, dry environment.
Right, for sure. And then it's done. You don't have to worry about it. What about older vehicles though? Like, is there ever a problem where I don't know if I can get this windshield? Like, you got an antique vehicle, or it's older, or I know we had an issue. We had my wife Sarah, her new vehicle, she got in a little fender bender, and it was still so new that they didn't even have replacement parts. Is that you run into that stuff, or
some of the new stuff we do? They want original, say, Honda parts or whatever it may be. It is tough because the manufacturers are still manufacturing for cars. They're not releasing enough yet. So that happens sometimes. We do always pay extra to try and get them expedited. So that does happen time to time. But even with, you were talking about classic or exotic vehicles, we do a lot of old stuff. We've done, an old 60, I think it was a 64 Rolls Royce, and we've done 50s and 60s Chevys, we just did a Road Runner the other day. We do a lot of classic cars. We have 2 gentlemen that have been there since they were literally kids, and they work on those.
Wow.
Those we can usually get, believe it or not. We can get the old stuff.
Wow.
And if we can't, the nice thing is back in the day, they were all made flat. So we can make the glass. We have a full shop where we can make it. Yeah.
Nice. So if it's flat, you can, you guys have the panel, the right glass, the right panels. You can, but if it's curved, then you just hope that there's still
availability.
Or I would imagine that you could even, what people go to the salvage yard or something and try to find. Is that able? Are they able to do that? Like take it out? And,
yeah. They'll usually have us come and do it because they don't want to break the glass, and that's what we do. So we'll go and we use a wire system to get it out.
Right, gotcha. Interesting stuff. And really, the install is really important for a lot of vehicles. Making sure it's installed properly, because that's a lot of the structure of the car too, right? Is that the case?
It has to do structurally with the airbag deployment. So when the airbag goes off, what it does is it hits the windshield, and that's what your delay is, so that it's in front of you, so it doesn't bounce right at you. So if the airbag hits off the windshield and your windshield isn't sealed properly, it's going to blow the windshield literally right out of the car.
Gotcha. And then you're going to probably not have a good time either.
No, that won't be a good day for me.
So no one's having a good day in something like that. So really important, again, reputable company that knows the right adhesives, knows how to install, the prepping is usually, even in remodeling, it's like preparation is a big key when you apply anything. It's cleaning it properly and all of that stuff. Is that the case?
Yeah, I always tell people it's more important what's behind it versus what, I wouldn't worry as much about the glass. I would worry more about what kind of glue are you using?
Yeah.
How quick can I drive the car away? Those
Yeah.
sort of things like you're saying, the prepping part.
Yeah. A lot to it. People don't realize. Being in remodeling, it's the same thing. And I know you guys do commercial. You're going to do, and are you do mostly replacement, panes or sashes, or do you do full windows? How does that,
We'll do full vinyl replacement windows as well. You want to replace the windows in your home, whether it's new or changing, new construction or remodel.
Yeah.
A lot of the calls we get are most of the time broken window or, oh, there's fog in between the window right off the bat. As soon as you hear that, it's the seals failed.
Yep.
Years that'll happen. But that's what helps keep the AC in your home during summer and keep the heat in during winter. If that seals failed, you're losing, a good 30% of energy out that window.
And it looks like garbage too.
Yes.
Because it's usually
The
like
cosmetic.
condensation and
Yeah.
It's just, and I think people don't realize it's not actually that big of a deal. Like, just call you. And it's like, usually it doesn't matter the manufacturer of the window. You can usually, replace it.
Always, yeah. If it's just insulated glass in there, there's grids on it, there's not grids. It's a different color. Sometimes people have that low E to it where it helps prevent like fading inside the home. We can match it up. There's always ways to figure out what color it is.
And, obviously if you're with a big brand like Harvey or Pella or Anderson or something, they obviously have warranties on that. But, honestly, we deal with their warranty department all the time with our remodels. And sometimes it's just like, just get Plymouth Glass in here. They're just going to do it. You're not going to have to wait. So some of these guys are like 6, 8, 4 months before they'll come even take a look at it because they're understaffed.
Yeah.
And for the few $100 to get a new sash made, because usually I think a lot of it is broken seals, where it's a cheaper window, the seals go. And, but for broken glass, it's the same thing, right?
Yeah, same thing, same essence. Obviously, it's a lot quicker if it's just a single pane.
Right.
Because it's in-house. I can cut that right then and there.
Right. And then are you guys capable of, I would imagine, doing the gas and all of that stuff too?
Yep. So we work with a local company right here in Connecticut, actually, that does it all for us.
Yep.
They have a plant where they have an insulating line.
Gotcha.
And they do it right then and there. But, they've been very good to us. We've worked with them for 40 plus years. And if we want something turned around next day, they will do it for us.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's about that service too, and not having to deal with, months and weeks and trying to get somebody to get out there.
Yeah. And callbacks and
Is there, so I would say a lot of is vinyl windows. Is that something like, are you able to take and, because sometimes the vinyl window is, if it's a welded, are you able to kind of take that, the sash apart and get to the glass and kind of like put it back together? Or do you have to typically, make something completely new?
No, yeah, we can take them apart. A lot of times they're held in by stops on the outside, whether they're vinyl or wood.
Right.
Which those can be brittle. Sometimes they break. We always let people know ahead of time. Again, it's all about communication, information.
Yeah.
And then other ways, they're just screwed apart, screws in the corners and usually just the break apart frame.
Yeah.
Requires a little bit of labor to get them apart, but for the most part, we're used to seeing it. We see different windows every day.
Yeah.
I tell my staff when we train, it's funny because a lot of the girls in my office they're so nervous about the flat glass stuff. Any windows that come in, they're like, oh, I'm scared. How do I handle this? And I tell them, you see this window right here? Guess what? You're never going to see the same window again. So when, customer B comes in with another window, you'll never see it again. So just get used to kind of what goes in each one.
Yeah. And I think what people don't realize, I love that you said that, because we have, there's main companies out there that have produced windows, but there's a lot of companies that have come and gone. And, even like each company changes how they make things every so many years. So you're right. Like every decade has so many different building materials, and different ways and different windows and that stuff. So it's almost difficult to ever say you're going to see the same thing twice.
Yeah.
You know,
People call all the time and say, one of the first questions we ask them is, do you know the window manufacturer when they start explaining it to you, just so we know what we're working with.
Yeah.
9 out of 10 times, I have no clue who this window is, or, oh, we installed them 20 years ago, or, oh, we moved in the house with them. So most people don't know. And that's the tough part. Where do you go next?
Right.
Call a glass company.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
probably the easiest.
And it's easy to fix. Like, I think that's the big thing is that it's not a big deal.
No.
Like, it's
Simple.
really not a big deal. And I think people probably look at especially the condensation inside the panes, or the broken, or especially if it's two pane and the outside pane got broken, and they're just looking at it every day, but they're just like, well, I don't know what to do.
It's those tasky things,
yeah,
right? Like
yeah.
I wake up every day and there's always something I want to fix in my house or change or do. And it's those harder ones that you're like, oh, just another task to add to the list.
Yeah.
Where do I start? What do I do? I don't want to be on the phone all day. I don't want to be having to go back and forth with something or send them numbers or what do I need off of it?
Right.
We want ease, right?
Right. Exactly.
That's what we want. I'm a consumer.
It's a phone call, and somebody's
Yeah.
going to come out. They're going to say, hey, we can, take the sash completely. We'll, and get it fixed, or, hey, we're going to come back out and fix it.
Yep.
So I feel like there should be, and that's part of what this podcast is like just home ownership of like, we need to have like a class in high school of like home ownership. Like, this is the stuff that's going to happen, especially in Connecticut. We have so many old homes. I mean, we haven't even talked about, the single pane that's still out there, and you probably have to go out and reglaze, right?
Yeah.
Like there's, especially in the historical areas, we can't even change those windows out. Some historical organizations are, we're doing stuff in Woodbury right now, and, historical societies being a pain in the neck.
So we just dealt with that too up in Torrington, I believe.
Yeah.
And we had to get some windows for them. They were crazy curved. They had an insane lead time, and they were outrageous. I just remember them being upwards for a few windows of over $3,000 or $4,000.
Yeah, yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, and to put that on the but it gives the aesthetics of some of these towns.
Yes.
It keeps that look. But going on the other side of the historical, do you guys do any kind of like window glazing or not glazing, but like treatments like tinting or that kind of stuff? What isn't there's some fun stuff out there for that, right?
There's a lot of filming things that you can do, but I'm going to be honest. I probably shoot myself in the foot with sales when I tell people this.
Yeah. There
are films out there that you can buy, whether you go online or you go to a big shop or a small shop. I don't sell them personally. I recommend like a little Red's Hardware in Thomaston.
Yeah.
Great.
Gotcha.
Go there. They have films there. Put those on. It's cheap. It's easy to do instead of us coming out to actually film it. It costs a lot of money. It's labor intensive.
Yeah.
And I don't think one of the big things that people realize in Connecticut is that with glass, we actually have to be licensed too. We cannot do any sort of window installations without a special license, just like electrician or plumber.
Gotcha.
So most
That's
states
good.
don't have that.
Yeah. That is good because Connecticut really doesn't. The licensing for home improvements pretty easy.
Vague.
Compared to Massachusetts and New York, they do a really nice job. I would like to elevate that just because it would eliminate some of the competition and it would eliminate a lot of problems because I feel, in home improvement, we're half of the beginning part of any relationship is like, hey, we're not going to screw you over. We're like a company. Like, hello, I know you've seen all this stuff on the news, like contractors are bad, but like that's just because the licensing, there's not anybody can be one. So you called the guy that was $2 and you got $2 worth of work,
Yeah. There's been a lot of that on the news stations about people, forking up this money, not getting work done or not getting it done appropriately. I agree. I wholeheartedly agree with that. I think there needs to be more stipulations involved.
Yeah. So car windshields, big deal, happens all the time. You've got broken sashes, your window condensation's bad, Johnny throws a baseball, breaks the glass.
Just had that last week.
Yeah. Yeah. So those are the basic things.
Told my husband not to play baseball with him there, and he
Yeah.
did anyway.
Yeah.
But the wife was still the one bringing in the window.
Yeah.
Explain that.
Nice. Nice. Other things is for residential, we have to think about tempered glass, right? The new thing is tempered glass needs to be in I think almost they've moved it to anywhere in the bathroom. I mean, or it's so many feet from the shower. Usually it was
Yep.
in the shower, like obviously temperate, but now I think they've moved it within 2 feet of the shower.
Yeah, there's a lot of stipulations regarding tempered glass. It needs to be, if you're within 18 inches from the floor, any
Yeah.
floor, it has to be
Right.
tempered.
Yep.
And any sort of door, so whether it's an entry door or an interior door. A lot of these older homes that we talked about have, these glass panes in there. Believe it or not, if somebody comes in and says, I want to put glass in here, I can't put regular glass in there. I have to put a safety glass, which
Yeah.
is tempered.
And so what is a safety glass? What is that, what does that entail?
So either tempered is
Yeah.
safety, laminated safety glass, which is what you get in a windshield. It's 2 panes of glass with a layer in the middle that helps keep the glass together.
Yeah.
Or a plastic, which we call polycarbonate or a plexiglass.
Yeah.
Polycarbonate's nice, a little bit more durable, doesn't yellow or scratch as easy as plexi.
Okay.
We do a lot of those, believe it or not. Most people, don't notice it after time, and it's quick and easy, and nobody's going to get hurt if it gets
Yeah.
broken.
Yeah. And that's the key thing, right? So if it's not tempered, what ends up happening? It just like kind of shatters and it's like cutting you everywhere.
Well, tempered, yeah, that's the thing. It breaks into big pieces,
Yeah.
but tempered is the one where when it breaks into like 1,000 pieces all over.
Gotcha.
I always tell people if you break a window in your home and it's tempered, you'll find pieces 3 years later. It's just one of those where it goes everywhere.
And is there a difference between safety and tempered?
Tempered is just a little bit, we use it for different applications. So laminated safety glass is something that you use, they do them a little bit in cars now. Sometimes, your side windows, they got away from doing that as well because if, you were going into an auto accident in the water, you try and pop the window. You can't pop it the same as tempered wood. So there's different applications for different settings. Laminated glass is a little bit less durable because it's just those 2 pieces with that plastic inner layer. Tempered glass can take a lot more. You went up and, you, not to be, a little catty, but you go up and you punch a piece of tempered glass, it's not going to break in the middle.
Right.
You go ahead and pop your hand on a piece of laminated glass, it's going to break. It's going to stay together, but it's not going to break. It's
Gotcha.
going to still break.
Yeah. And then if it's not tempered or any of that, like, and you go and put your hand through it, it's going to cut you.
That's the big thing. Yeah. It breaks into such big pieces that you're going to get hurt.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why it's not a good idea in cars. So we've done that. The last part really is shower doors too, right? 'Cause you guys do that.
Yeah. The showers are really big for us. We've expanded with where we're going. We've always handled the state of Connecticut, but we find more now. We're seeing more and more from northwest Connecticut, definitely, but even more southern. So we're into Southbury, Oxford a lot, down that way,
Yeah.
going down into Fairfield County
It's
a
a busy
lot.
area. Yeah.
Busy area and just a need for it.
So walk. People are getting their bathroom remodeled, or maybe it's not remodeled, but they want to replace it because like the older glass, if it was a cheap glass, it wasn't installed properly, or honestly, sometimes people just don't clean it enough, and then it gets really soap scummed. And they want to replace it. What's the steps?
So yeah, we talked about it briefly before too. Sarah and I, we typically recommend people contact us. Check out what your first steps are. Have you done the remodel? Because don't forget, we only do the glass surface and the hardware with that.
Yeah.
So if they want to change anything, the plumbing, or they want to do anything with the tile or the fiberglass insert, they would need a contractor. We deal with folks like you guys who can do that.
Yeah.
And then we work together. We get the glass ordered. We come out, we measure, we get the glass ordered, come out and install it. It's usually like a 10-day turnaround, business days.
Yeah.
The nice thing is they have that new glass now where we can put the coatings within it so that you don't have all that hard water buildup.
Yeah.
It doesn't get, slimy and that grime on there.
Yeah. I think, and I think that's a big thing to tell everybody, like, because some people will come to us and be like, well, look at it. It looks like garbage right now. I'm like, well, cause it's old and it wasn't clean, but the new stuff, it's kind of like,
Yeah.
it's kind of like Rain-X.
That's what I say.
Yeah. Yeah. So you still need to, there's still maintenance.
Yeah, you
It's
can't not clean it
yeah, you
and
still
just
gotta
say
clean
it's got it. It's going to take,
But
it's self-cleaning. No.
Yeah, yeah. But it's still, it cuts it down a little bit, and it stays looking nicer. And there's nothing like, especially if you're going from a curtain to
Oh, yeah.
to a glass door. What do you see, you guys, most? Is most of it like a clear, or are you seeing anything that's? I think we just did one that had etching, like panes in it. I put it out on social. I had mixed reviews. But what do you guys see the most of?
Clear is about 99% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the clear has a lot to do with the actual bathroom. What it does is it opens up,
Yeah.
draws a lot of light, makes the bathroom look bigger, doesn't feel so confined.
Mm-hmm.
But, there are folks that say, I want to do clear with maybe like a film or some sort of strip on it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay too, because you're still getting the light with a little bit of privacy.
Yeah.
I don't recommend the full on, like the rain, and there's all these different fancy names for all these ones.
Yeah.
I don't recommend those as much, but again, it's to each their own.
Right.
If that's what somebody wants, go for it.
Yeah, when we design bathrooms, it's like if you had that kind of wall enclosed kind of stand up shower, and then we get rid of that wall and we replace the wall with glass. It's like it makes your bathroom. And if you had if you had a door on there, even if it was a glass door, it was one of those cheaper ones that is opaque where you can't see through it.
Yeah.
And then you go from that to a corner with just all glass. Like you've gained, 4x4 of more bathroom because you can see, right? It opens everything up. Well worth it. And how much do you see, like, do you have the framed versus the frameless? Is there a big?
I would say frameless is done 95% of the time.
Yeah.
And I recommend it. People always get nervous. They're like, oh, I don't want to clean it and have to clean all that glass.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually less cleaning.
Yeah.
You squeegee it, maybe wash it once a week, twice,
Right.
Keep up with it. It's those tracks with the framed ones or the semi-framed ones that you have to worry about.
Yeah.
They get all grimy. They get nasty. The water gets in there.
Yeah. And the framed ones, I mean, they're always they're always always a little wonky for us. You always can see, because what people don't realize is that nothing's straight in a home ever. Like
No, and then it settles. Forget about it.
Yeah, right. And yeah, because it's like half adjusted, and if the screws aren't tightened enough, all of a sudden then, there's not a perfect close. And when you do fully custom, I mean, you guys come out and template it, right? And you actually cut the glass
Oh, yeah.
to the wall.
Yeah, to the wall.
So it looks perfect, because especially in Connecticut, especially old homes, like the walls are not straight.
Yeah.
And you hope, we try to, we can only straighten stuff so much in a remodel, because it starts if the whole room is just like doing some weird stuff. Like if we were to make everything perfectly straight, then it would look even weird, more weird. So we kind of have to cheat it. And then you guys kind of come in and have to do a little bit of your own finagling too.
Yeah, it's a balancing. You'd never notice it with the naked eye.
Right.
I would say 9 out of 10 showers are not perfectly plumb square.
Right.
So we order the glass, whether it's out this way, 1/8 of an inch, or out at the top of 1/8 of an inch.
Right.
We order it that way.
Yeah.
Would you ever look at this and say, oh, that door is longer on the top than No, you wouldn't.
Yeah.
So we just kind of balance that all out, make it work so it's watertight and looks beautiful.
Yeah. Worth it, especially in bathrooms. I mean, we do a lot of bathroom remodels, and it's people are always happy. Bathrooms are like, and people want that spa feel. You use the bathroom a lot. It's worth to spend that little extra, and shower doors really make it. A nice shower
They
door,
do.
especially if you're coming from a curtain.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's
I tell people all the time, though, if you're first in the home and you're really struggling and you're financially, okay, we're kind of strapped. I've had, because I used to do the shower door sales back in the day, I would tell people, don't start drilling holes in your tile and putting in like a framed or a semi-framed. Put the shower curtain up 6 months, a year, then go back and do it. Because once you start putting those holes in the tile, and then now you want to divert over to frameless in a year,
Right.
Now you have tile repair.
Yeah. Nobody's having a good time.
No.
I love that. And I think it's good to close because we really talk about that in the way of, hey, don't do it if you're not ready to do it. Understand the cost and say, hey, listen, let's wait. We say this in remodeling all the time. Let's do it right. Maybe you do it next year. Don't do it now. Don't try to force it. Go to Lowe's and find something. And next thing you know, you're trying to drill into your tile and you're redoing the whole thing. So, well, I appreciate you coming on. Maybe just for the listeners one more time where you guys can be found. And yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate you having us. Again, Nikki with Plymouth Glass. Mm-hmm. We are in Thomaston, located 142 East Main Street. But again, probably internet's the easiest. It's just PlymouthGlass.com.
And we recommend here at Final Contracting. So thanks again for everything. And yeah.